Two defeats over the Easter weekend have left Rovers' playoff chase hanging by a thread with 9 games of the season to go. Today they face another team battling for their lives at the wrong end of the table in Wigan, while desperately in need of turning the corner and picking up 3 points themselves. It's Rovers against Wigan Athletic from 3 p.m. Good afternoon and welcome back to the Keepmoat Stadium, and thank you for joining us for our pre-match build-up to the game against Wigan Athletic in Sky Bet League One. Joining me on the show, editor of the Doncaster Free Press, Liam Hoden, and host of the 18 Dapper YouTube channel, Dan Pearson. Dan, only one place to start really. You've been a very busy man this morning, haven't you? You've already done your run around the Keepmoat. Talk us through how that came about.
Yeah, so back here in November against Sunderland, 1-0 down, didn't look like scoring at all, and I thought a tweet near the end of the game was pretty safe. It said that if we score, get an equaliser from this, I'll run around the Keepmoat naked. And lo and behold, Brad Halliday's running up the wing, lays it into Faye Okunabiri. He does everything he can to miss, but manages to bundle it in the back of the net. And then, as social media does, it absolutely blew up and started gathering momentum. And at that point, it's been a tough year with a pandemic. Charities have been hit hard. And with the Eves Trust Legends game, I thought, why not put them hand in hand and try and get a bit of money for a good cause?
And of course, as things come about, today's the day. How did you find it?
It was all right. You forget how big the pitch is until you're running around it. But yeah, picked a good day weather-wise, chucking it down with rain, freezing cold. But yeah, we got round in one go, which is good.
In terms of the pitch, what's it like down there? Of course, you see the players on there every single week, running round it. Is it bigger than it looks, so to speak? It
is massive, but it's an absolute bowling green. Beautiful. You can see why we like to play passing football. It's set up for that, and credit to the groundsman for keeping it at the level that it's at.
And of course, we couldn't let Dan do his run without following him with the cameras ourselves. So let's take a look at how he got on.
So a big thank you to everybody who's donated to this Eves Trust Legends game. It's a charity run. Brad Halliday, Faye Okunabiri, a mistimed tweet. You need to donate. It's your fault that I'm here doing this. But yeah, the Legends game, thank you for donating. Let's get running. Oh, it's cold. So cold. That's fresh. Right, can I get my kit back on?
Dan, on a cold afternoon, how pleased are you to have got it out of the way?
Yeah, it's good that it's done. Very cold, about 5 degrees. It was sleeting at one point as well, so yeah, nice to get round in one go and injury-free as well.
A big day for you, a big day for Rovers this afternoon as well, against a Wigan team struggling at the wrong end of the table. Just how much the Rovers need a win this afternoon?
Every game's absolutely massive now on the run into the end of the season. Obviously want a result, but the superstition in football, if we do get a result, they'll be wanting me to run around the pitch naked every single game. So yeah, hoping for a win, but we will see.
Liam, the Easter weekend didn't go as planned, did it, for Rovers? A defeat here against Charlton. The loss at Bristol Rovers was really disappointing, wasn't it? Especially the manner of it as well, being beaten by a team who simply wanted it more on the day.
That's what it came down to ultimately, and really frustrating given the fantastic start that they made to the game. And you were looking in that opening 10-15 minutes and thinking, this is Rovers. Rovers are back, and they take the lead, and then just instantly stop doing what they've been doing so well and got outfought, which is really, really disappointing. The issue is now that the more it goes on, the tougher it gets to shake the way out of it. We've said this long enough, but losing to a team that was struggling on Monday, you don't really want to be doing that again this afternoon.
We've said, haven't we, before, it's much easier to get out of a winning habit than it is a losing one, especially in a game like this and a time like this in the season as well.
Certainly is, and I think particularly when you're not scoring many goals, that's what it's coming down to. It's not like you're necessarily making mistakes at the back. The fact is, it puts a lot of pressure on players up at the top end of the pitch to do something, to make some magic. I thought it was great to see James Coppinger having a go from the edge of the area, great finish, and we've not seen enough of that. Players just thinking, there's a shot on here, I'm going to take it, rather than trying to give the responsibility to somebody else. That's where that pressure comes, and they've desperately got to shake themselves out of it.
Dan, in the build-up to that game, Rovers had struggled for a cutting edge up top, and I think once they got that first goal, everyone thought that was exactly what was needed. As Liam said, you think against a team, particularly who are struggling at the wrong end of the table, you get that first goal, you settle things down, and then it's them who have to come out at you.
Yeah, you've hit the nail on the head. We were doing things really, really well for the first 10 minutes, and like Liam said, it was the Rovers that we were used to seeing. And at that point, you thought, happy days, we're going to get that result that we've been longing for. And then we just stopped doing the basics, we stopped putting pressure on, and Bristol Rovers battled a lot better and wanted it much, much more, and it was clear to see on the day, unfortunately.
Liam, you can account for mistakes happening. Andy Butler said that. It's the reactions he wants to see, and you simply can't account for players not wanting it as much as the opposition, can you? You can't
at all, and that's where you've got to feel sorry for the manager. He spoke about them doing things right in training and be happy with what they've done, but the fact is they're just not taking it onto the pitch. And you could see the effort level. Bristol Rovers had some decent players, some quality players, and we saw with the finishers for the goals, Luke McCormick in particular, very, very good quality in there. But to be able to do that, to be able to have that platform to show that, you've got to work hard. That's the basic thing. And Andy Butler's talked a lot about going back to basics, but hard work is the number one thing that they need to show.
Do you feel it is a case of one result will help turn the tide, so to speak?
I do. I think in terms of the confidence factor, you can see the weight of this situation weighing on them so much, and I think just a victory by whatever means, if it is coming off of somebody's backside or something like that, it will make a massive difference, because particularly with games coming thick and fast, you're buoyed going into the next one, which is only a few days. You don't get really that chance to come back down from that.
It is back-to-back home games, Dan, and a couple of months ago, everyone would have been looking at these and seeing them as a couple of bankers, wouldn't they?
Yeah, his home form's been fantastic up until kind of the turn of the year. So looking at the position that the teams are in as well, you'd be wanting 6 points from these two games, and hopefully we can get them.
It's been a frustrating few weeks, as we said, for Rovers and Andy Butler, and the manager says he wants his team to get back to basics in order to pick up more results.
The basics for me are hard work and running, and then when we have the ball, the composure and the enjoyment to create and to pick final third passes and break lines, and that's what we've got to get back to. And we have the players to do that. We do, and it's just coaxing it out of them again. And I believe you'll see a different team. I believe you'll see a different side on Saturday. I really get a good vibe from the group that they want to, not like they should. I mean, they should do every week, but at the same time, there's a determination you can see in players' eyes now to actually think, hang on, the penny drops a little bit. And that's what I say, it's transferring from the training ground to the actual match pitch. I think we're going to be in a false position now, if I'm being totally honest. That watched a lot of their games and they play some good football. But so do we. And that's what I've got to focus on. My team, my formation, my players getting the right performance out there, like I say. And look, I keep saying to players, opportunities and challenges. You only get one opportunity. Well, the limited opportunities. And every single game, every single day, training and game-wise is a challenge. And it's up to you to rise to that. And I've no one ever question you whether you're giving 100%. I said all along that would hurt most for me, that someone thinks I'm not giving 100% in a game, which is, like I say, it's a non-negotiable for me.
Andy Butler, as disappointed as anybody, Liam, with the current run of form, everybody knows how much it means to him to be successful in this role, and he suggested this week that maybe he's seen a change in the mindset of the players a little bit.
I think there's been a lot of clear the air talks this week from the sounds of things, and I know players have had one-to-one meetings where he's put it on them and asked them what's going off and what's hampering them and things like that. And I think once things are out in the open, that allows you to really kind of kick on and just get on with the job. And I think that could have made all the difference. He's talking about a change that he's seen, and he says he said he thinks that Rovers will look a different side this afternoon. Well, they definitely need to. And that's it. The time for talking now. I think it's running out. It's time for him to show it on the pitch.
Yeah, the supporters want to see that put into place, don't they, Dan, on the field of play once that first whistle goes?
Yeah, talk is talk for supporters. It's the actions on the field, and over the last 6, 7 or more games, we've not seen that commitment that we want as fans. I'm not fussed if we lose or draw. It's the commitment on the field, just to see players actually putting the effort in, and unfortunately it's been missing for me. But hopefully with what's been said this week, we'll see a different Rovers team today.
It was a bit of a makeshift back four on Monday, wasn't it? Brandon Horton at right back, Cameron John coming in alongside Tom Anderson. He has got a couple of more bodies to play with this afternoon. Halliday and Wright, the obvious two at the back, and Josh Sims back in contention as well.
That's massive. I think the thing that they've lacked the most is the pace. It's been losing Josh Sims and John Taylor at the same time has really took so much of that, kind of what makes this team tick, out of the equation. And that's been very, very difficult for Andy Butler to deal with. And I think you've seen that these last couple of games where he's tried a slightly different system, where it's took away the emphasis on pace, what this team were all about. It's not particularly worked as yet, but in having that injection of pace in Josh Sims, if he is available and if he is back to what he was before, what he showed, particularly before Christmas, that'll be massive for Rovers.
It is all about mindset with Josh Sims' injury as well, isn't it? We know it's a nerve issue with the leg. Of course, he had the hamstring injury before Christmas, and it's about him trusting his body, isn't it? Because he's such an explosive player. If that's taken away from him, he's not going to have the same impact. Yeah,
because it sounds like one of those things that it's not going to be solved during this season, the exact nature of it. If it is going to be resolved at all, it might be something that keeps coming back to him, who knows. But yeah, he's got to kind of trust himself, and it must be so difficult when you're a player as explosive as that, when you're relying on particularly your legs to get you up and running. It must be difficult, but he's kind of got to do that now.
Of course, Andy Butler also changed the goalkeeper on Monday. He said that Lewis Jones needed a rest, or he'd chosen to rest him. Do you expect to see Lewis Jones come back in this afternoon?
It's difficult because I don't think Ellery Balcombe did a massive amount wrong. I think a lot of people jumped on the fact they were saying he needed a rest as though he were tired. I think it's more about the mental side of things, and I think Lewis has done really well. I wouldn't be surprised now. I think he's probably set something where we could easily see regular changes, or maybe not game after game, but maybe they'll exchange it between now and the end of the season. So I await the team news quite eagerly.
Dan, the fans are always keen to see players come through the youth system and get in the team. Brandon Horton's done that recently. Of course, out of position slightly on Monday, but he certainly didn't let anyone down, did he, at right back?
No, I thought he did all right. I thought he had a solid game. He had a couple of problems, but dealt with them as well as you'd expect. And to see a young kid come in and play out of position and not do too badly, it's good to see that versatility.
Tom Anderson, incidentally, the only outfield player or the only player at all to have started every league game since Andy Butler took charge, and the skipper says that everyone's determined to turn things around on the field.
They look a good team, you know, where they are in the league, we have to forget about that. You know, like I said, they look a good team, they've got some good individual players, and again, a bit like Bristol Rovers, they're fighting for their lives. So first and foremost, we have to match them for their work rate. They're a very hard-working team. So we have to match them on that. And then, like I said, they have some good individual players who can do things from nowhere and win them games. So we just have to make sure that we're switched on and we're ready and off the ball, be dogs ourselves. You know, you have to sprint, you have to jump, win the header, and all the basic stuff like this. We've just got to make sure that we match them for that. And then on the ball, you know, we play some lovely football at times, so we have to make sure we do that with an end product. We just need to get back to doing the basics well, and that's not even really questioning ability or anything like that. I think that's just hard work, determination, desire, and fight. And I think, like I said, we just got to go back to the basics and make sure we do them right, and then not the rest of it. Everything else, all the goals and nice passes and touches will follow if you do the basics right.
Liam, you sense from Tom Anderson that the frustration with him is, as well as letting Andy Butler down as the manager, it's also a good friend as well and a former centre-half partner.
Yeah, definitely. And we know Tom's a no-nonsense character. You know, this will be hurting him a lot. He'll be a tremendous amount of frustration in him, and he were quite open in that he doesn't think standards have been high enough and desire levels have been good enough within the group, and he wants to get that sorted. And there'll be a determination to get it right for Andy. A lot of players in this squad will be determined to get it right, but they obviously need to do that on the pitch.
A lot made of how much Rovers did or didn't want it on Monday, Dan. that's something you can never question of the captain himself, is it?
No, he'll always put his head on the line, and he'll do everything for the team. There's no two ways about it. He's always committed when he's out on the pitch. But there's just been too many being carried over the last couple of months for me, and as part of the captain's role, he needs to grab them by the scruff of the neck and pull them up to the standards that we expect.
That's often said, isn't it? You can probably get away with carrying one or two if they don't perform well, but when it starts to become 4, 5, 6, it makes it a lot more difficult. Yeah,
like you say, one or two, the rest of the team can collectively kind of bring up their game and get through. But when it's the majority of the team, you're gonna be second best.
Of course, Liam, we mentioned how big a game it is today. Tom Anderson going up against a team from Lancashire, a Lancashire lad himself. Maybe it will mean a little bit more to him as well.
Yeah, definitely. There's plenty of rivalry in that close-knit area, really. Burnley not too far away from Wigan, so I think hopefully any extra motivation that anybody can bring into this game, they need to bring it.
And he's had a couple of centre-half partners. It's chopped and changed, and it can't make it easy for him, can it? Particularly when I know it seems easy going from left side centre-half to right side centre-half, but you are checking different things, aren't you? Different shoulders and timings and things like that.
Definitely. And I think he's done really, really well. I don't think he looks out of place in either position. It's remarkable, really, that he's moved over to that left side and really kind of made it his own since he's been here. But yeah, he's coped well, and I think it was good that he were over that side for Brandon Horton, a player he's played alongside on that left side enough as well. I think that were a really big help for Brandon.
And it tells a tale of how tough Andy Butler's had it in terms of injuries, that Tom's the only player to have started every game under him.
I think it's massive, and I know people will jump on it as though it's an excuse, but when you look at the players that have been missing, the players that have had, like the likes of Omar Bogle and John Bostock, who were on an upward curve, and then they get injured and it's almost back to square one for them. And we saw how much just before those injuries they were really coming into their own and becoming big parts of this team. It has been massive, and you've got to feel for Andy in that way, that his time, his real opportunity in the hot seat has been disrupted by so many injuries.
I know we touched on Brandon a little earlier on. How much will he benefit in the long run? Maybe might not realise it now when the team are struggling, but in terms of him maturing as a person and a player, he'll probably benefit arguably the most from a spell like this, won't he, when he's in and out of the team and having to find a way through a poor spell as a team. Yeah,
there's a lot being demanded of him. He's learning very, very quickly what it takes to be a senior footballer in the EFL, in League One, and particularly in the side that's where it's not going so well. I'm sure he'd like things to be going well, and he can kind of show what he's got going forward a bit, like most of the fullbacks have in the earlier part of the season. But yeah, it's going to be really, really big for him, and I think he's really, really stood up to the challenge really well.
Before Andy Butler was named as manager, Dan, him and Tom Anderson had a very solid partnership at the back, and that's been sort of ignored a little bit in the fact that people are looking at the injuries Rovers have had. Well, in actual fact, you've taken one of their big leaders and a crucial part of the spine of the team out for the last few games.
Yeah, especially on the pitch. When he was playing, he'll have been talking very, very loud, very vocal, and especially for the younger lads, that'll help them through the game. But he's still on the sideline. He's still in the changing room. He's still delivering the team talk. So I think that character will still be coming through, and that leadership should still be coming through from Andy.
Now, we do have a very special VIP for this afternoon's game. By sharing his own story, Rovers fan Bob Minto has helped Macmillan raise more than £20,000 by hosting coffee mornings with his sister. And the club decided to say thank you to Bob by setting up a Zoom call with John Taylor.
Hey, Tails, how are you doing?
Oh, hi, mate. You okay?
Yeah, I'm fine, thanks.
I bet you're missing coming to games.
Oh, yeah.
You go to the games with your grandson?
I do, yes. Well, I don't know if you realise, but every home game involves a 200-mile round trip because he lives 50 miles away. So I have to go down, pick him up, fetch him to the game, then take him back afterwards, and then come home. So it's a 200-mile trip for every...
You're a real-life hero, Bob. Honestly, Hayley's just been telling me all the good work you've been doing, but that is just another level as well.
Most of the work that I do for Macmillan is my sister. She is the one that sort of does... You know, she hosts the coffee morning and that sort of thing. I take her to wholesalers and buy discounted snap and that sort of thing.
It's absolutely amazing. It's great work. So we just want to say congratulations on. We're gonna get a game organised for you to be a VIP guester in one of the games at home, where Tom Anderson will have an iPad and he'll be on Zoom, so you'll be able to take you into the changing rooms So you can see all the lads in the changing rooms getting ready before the game. You get to speak to the lads.
Oh, great.
If we could get your grandson on with you as well, that would be excellent.
Thanks a lot. Yeah, great.
Thank you very much for the Zoom call. It's a pleasure to meet you.
Lads, a massive game this afternoon, as we've mentioned. Rovers can't be found guilty again, Dan, can they, of not wanting it as much as a team battling at the wrong end of the table?
No, definitely not, especially with what's been said this week in the media. The talk's been there, and it's all about getting the action on the pitch and showing that it's not just words, and hopefully a performance, get to winning ways, and then bounce on to another home game in a couple of days.
It's 2 games, Liam, as we said earlier on, that Rovers simply have to take as many points as they can from. Maximum 4 to 6 points, you would say, would be a good return given the run in recent weeks?
Yeah, I think the thing is now the margin for error is completely gone. They had a tremendous margin for error for so long, as we saw with how they managed to cling on to a top 6 spot despite the run. That's eroded further over the Easter weekend, and now you can't say every game's must win, but they've got to be looking to probably take 5 or 6 wins from these last 9 games if they're going to have a chance. And these 2 are the ones that you really would be targeting for maximum points.
I think the Wigan game, the reverse fixture, was Rovers' first defeat of the season, wasn't it? In a game where Rovers performed well in the first half, and then in the second half it just got away from them slightly, ended up losing by a 1-0. Yeah,
and Wigan showed if they take the lead, they've got the resolve to withstand it. Rovers were disappointing in that second half. I think Wigan have improved a tremendous amount since then. Obviously a change in manager in that time from John Sheridan to Liam Richardson, and they've been getting a lot of praise for the performances in recent weeks, perhaps not got the results that they've deserved, so they'll be ready to take something from today.
And it is so tight at the bottom as it is at the top, isn't it? One result and a couple of results elsewhere going for you can see you jump right out, or if not, on the edge of the relegation zone.
Yeah, the second bottom, but they're only 2 points from safety. What will be in their minds as well is the fact that they've played a game more than a couple of the rivals down there, so their margin for error is not great either. So a bit of pressure on them today to get something, and they will be looking at this one as taking advantage of a team out of form in the same way that Rovers should be.
And it's another game, Dan, where you sense that first goal could be crucial. If Wigan get it and have something to hold on to, it puts even more doubt in Rovers' mind, whereas if they get the goal, hopefully it'll settle things down a bit.
Yeah, I'm thinking 1 goal will win it. I think the first goal will probably be the only one of the game. So as a prediction, I'm going 1-0 Rovers.
Liam, your prediction?
It's still my prediction. That's exactly what I was going to go for. I usually come on here with quite a bit of optimism, but yeah, I'm going to keep it tight for this one, but 1-0, yeah.
Now, everyone at Doncaster Rovers and the wider Club Doncaster family was saddened to hear yesterday of the passing of His Royal Highness the Prince Philip, Duke of Edinburgh, at the age of 99. To mark his passing and to pay our respects, there will be a 2-minute silence ahead of today's game. Liam, Dan, thank you for your company. Thank you at home for watching as well. Head over to I Follow Rovers now as Rovers take on Wigan Athletic from 3 p.m.